Hi everyone, I'm Abigail Jane Cabo. I am from Group 4 and we are tasked to present to you the MPAD 4's course title, Administration of Local and National Development. So let's start with knowing what Administration of Local and National Development is. It concludes understanding the policies, the processes, and legal frameworks that shape development in both locally and nationally. It also includes laws that establish guidelines for effective governance, resource allocation, sustainable development, and the empowerment of local governments to support national progress. So, with that being said, I'll be discussing to you one of the Philippines' administration of local and national development, which is the urban development and housing. So, UDH, it entails the policies that aims to show how urban growth, adequate housing, and urban infrastructure are managed, insured, and improved. So, urban development and housing has two relevant laws. We have Republic Act number 7279 and Republic Act number 11201. Now let's discuss the Urban Development and Housing First relevant law, which is the Republic Act number 7279, also known as the Urban Development and Housing Act of 1992. So this act promotes the urban development and addresses the housing needs in the Philippines, especially for our low-income families. It also establishes a comprehensive and ongoing urban development and housing programs to improve the living conditions of the underprivileged and homeless citizens of the Philippines. So the act primarily aims to address housing challenges by providing affordable housing, basic needs, and even employment opportunities as possible. So third, the Act highlights the collaboration between the government and the private sector and also the active participation of the community in urban development efforts. One example of this collaboration between the government and private sectors are these housing programs constructed or developed by private industries that can be availed by our Filipino workers through a government agency such as the Pag-ibig Fund, which we will discuss more later on. And lastly, the Act outlines the guidelines for the rational use and development of urban lands with a focus on equitable or fair land tenure and balanced development. So there is security for every individual's tenure in owning a land. So basically, the Act of 1992 or Urban Development and Housing Act of 1992, it is made to implement and protect housing development for every Filipino. So as you can see, the UDH Act of 1992 includes key objectives. In other words, the Republic Act number 7279 was created to make sure that these following matters are implemented accordingly to meet the basic needs of the Filipino people. So our first key objective is the affordable housing. The Act ensures the availability of decent housing at affordable cost for the underprivileged and homeless citizens of the Philippines. The second key objective is the equitable land use. The Act promotes the logical and fair utilization of urban lands, prioritizing the needs of the marginalized groups. So our marginalized groups here are those of from low income families. And the third key objective, the security of tenure. This provides a fair land tenure system that guarantees security of tenure for the beneficiaries while respecting their property rights. One example of this would be if you're familiar with house and lots rights only. Usually they're posted in marketplaces and it would say house and lots for sale rights only. It means that these kind of properties are owned by the government, but the citizen living in that property has the documents pertaining to their rights in living there with specific community. So that's the third key objective. And the fourth one is the urban growth regulation. The Act adopts the policies to regulate urban growth and promote balanced urban-rural interdependence. And the fifth key objective would be the people participation. The Act encourages the active participation of communities in urban development processes. The sixth is the local government empowerment. The Act enhances the capacity of our local government units to implement urban development and housing programs. Of course, because we believe that the housing programs or housing programs awareness should really start with our local government units. And the last key objective would be the relocation and resettlement. The Act establishes guidelines for the relocation of the informal settlers, ensuring humane and just processes. So I know we're all familiar, or we all know that we have informal settlers around the Philippines, and one of the location where we have numbers of informal settlers would be in Luzon, and some of them are already relocated. And when they're relocated, the government makes sure that the just and humane processes are being considered. They would not be relocated in just any areas in the Philippines. It should be a place or an area conducive to live at or in. So basically, the UDH Act of 1992's key objectives, these are key points that highlight the collaborative efforts of the government, the private sector, and the communities in addressing the urban housing challenges in the Philippines. So that's it for DRA number 7279. But before I proceed to the next relevant law, under urban development and housing, let's have a quick activity first. So just right there in the comfort of your seats, I would love for you to answer the following questions. We have first the question, RA number 7279 is also known as. The second one is how many key objectives does RA number 7279 have? And the third would be what's the third key objective of RA number 7279? So I know you'll do great in this one, guys. Thank you so much. So now let's proceed and discuss the second relevant law of urban development and housing, which is the Republic Act number 11201. So Republic Act number 11201 is also known as the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development Act. It's an act named after the department itself. So the act essentially established a department responsible for sustainable housing and urban development policies. So essentially, it's the act that created what we now know as the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development. So this is the central housing authority in the Philippines. It was created on February 14, 2019 under Republic Act 11201, and our current secretary is Secretary Jose Rizalino Jerry Acuzar. So the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development is the sole and the main planning and policy making, regulations, program coordination, and performance monitoring entity for all housing, human settlement, and urban development concerns in the Philippines. Technically, their primary focus is to make sure that there is an access of the affordability of the basic human need in the Philippines, which is housing. So the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development of Republic Act number 11201 has key shelter agencies that ensure that the program's vision and mission are being carried out effectively. So our first key shelter agency is the Human Settlements Adjudication Commission, also known as HSAC. It was reconstituted from the Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board under the Republic Act number 11201. It is a purely quasi-judicial agency. It's quasi-judicial agency because it refers to the action or the bodies that, though this is not done in courts, it's it resolves disputes between parties and it makes decisions with legal implications. Also, it adjudicates the disputes relating to real estate development, homeowners associations, and appeals from decisions of local and regional planning and zoning bodies. So basically, the Human Settlements Adjudication Commission, they make the judgments of the disputes regarding any housing developments matters in the Philippines. Then we have the National Housing Authority or NHA. It was established in July 31st, 1975, and it assists in land acquisition and resettlement programs. So next key shelter agency would be the National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation or NHMFC, and it was established in 1977. Its primary mission is to promote affordable housing by developing and operating secondary market for home mortgages. So in essence, the NHMFC, they buy mortgages from financial institutions which then they led to more borrowers expanding access to home financing. So they also administer the Community Mortgage Program or CMP. It's a financing program assisting legally organized associations of underprivileged citizens to purchase and develop land collectively. So we also have the Social Housing Finance Corporation or SHFC, also established in 1977 under the Executive Order number 272, which actually directs the transfer of the Community Mortgage Program, now with a Botkaya Babahay Fund program from the National Mortgage Home Finance Corporation to the Social Housing Finance Corporation. So same with the National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation. The Social Housing Finance Corporation provides the affordable housing solutions to low-income families in the Philippines in both formal and informal settlements. So if the National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation started the Community Mortgage Program, the SHFC expanded its options with the new Abot Kaya Pabahay Fund program, where they also provide financing for site development, house construction, and other aspects of housing projects. And lastly, we have the Pag-ibig Fund, also officially known as the Home Development Mutual Fund. It was established in June 11, 1978, and its vital role is to provide financial services to Filipino workers. It also has its primary functions, and the first one would be what we are very familiar with, the savings program. This is where they encourage members to save through mandatory and voluntary contributions which grow over time and also earn dividends. Their second function would be the affordable housing loans. This is where they offer accessible financing options for home ownership, making it easier for every members to purchase or construct their homes. If you remember earlier when we talked about the Republic Act number 7279, one of its highlights is the collaboration between the government and the private sector. And this is one of its examples where the private industry can construct or develop housing programs, and our Filipino workers could avail it through this government agency, Home Development Mutual Fund. Their third function would be their short-term loans. This is where they provide financial assistance for immediate needs, such as with their multi-purpose loan or MPL program. So yes, they also let our Filipino workers borrow or loan money specifically. And the last function would be support for employers. This is where there's collaboration with the employers to facilitate loan applications, and it also promotes financial literacy among employees. So if you notice, especially with our private companies, when the employees processes loan, the employers would need to sign the loan application first, and also the payments could be deducted to their salaries. So as we all know, the Pag-ibig Fund, it has been really instrumental in improving the financial security and housing opportunities for millions of Filipinos. And that has been the vision and the mission of the Republic Act number 11201. And once again, these are the key shelter agencies of the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development that implement the urban development and housing's vision of adequate and affordable housing, human settlements, and well-planned communities for every Filipino family. So before we conclude my report for today, let's have another quick activity. It's just the same in the comfort of your seats. Please enumerate the following abbreviations. We have first the DHSUD. We also have the UDH, the NHA, the HSAC, and the last one, the NHMFC. So I know you'll do great on this, everyone. Thank you so much. And I know we also asked why is it important that we know the administration of local and national development, specifically the urban development and housing, the relevant laws, and the key shelter agencies. Um, I believe that it is crucial to understand this part of the Philippines administration of local and national development because by grasping these aspects and identifying the appropriate agency to approach, us, the citizens, the planners, and the policymakers, we can collaborate and advocate for shaping cities that are inclusive, sustainable, and resilient. And we really hope so. So for your reference as well, I have here my references and bibliographies. Please feel free to visit or review the following citations. And yeah, that concludes my report for today. Once again, everyone, thank you so much for your time, and may God bless us all. Stay safe always.